it's Eshani. So today I'm going to be doing, I don't even know what this video was going to be. This was supposed to be like a holiday beauty anti-haul. If you guys have been paying attention to new holiday releases, there are some items that have come out that in my opinion absolutely deserve some criticism. I know this year has been really weird. I know that 2020 just has hit a lot of companies really differently, and I feel like for some of these companies they were just scrapping together something to create some sort of holiday collection. But in my opinion, as I do with life, if you're not gonna do it right, just don't do it. Like, if you're not going to really commit and do it to the best of your ability, don't just do it for a money grab. That's what I feel like some of these products are. These are, in my opinion, the top 5 worst holiday beauty releases of 2020. We're gonna talk about it. I am going to give no mercy on these companies because they don't deserve any mercy for releasing money grabs like what we're gonna talk about in today's video. And I also wanted to say that if you guys actually are interested in any of these products or have purchased any of these products, this video shouldn't invalidate your opinion. Obviously, we all have opinions, but I just want to warn you guys to let you know, hey, think about these items before you actually put your money into them. If you like these types of videos, if you like hearing me rant about items, go ahead and shoot this video a thumbs up, because inevitably these kinds of videos tend to get some backlash because people are very protective over their makeup and their makeup brands, and I totally understand. But if you guys like some realness in your videos, shoot this video a thumbs up, and yeah, let's get right into it. So the first item we're gonna talk about is this palette right over here. This is the Morphe Cosmetics 35XO Natural Flirt Artistry palette. I hate this palette. I hate this palette with every fiber of my being because this is 84 shades of pink. No matter how much you love these kinds of rosy, pinky tones, you don't need this palette. The palette is only $25, as with most Morphe items. It's relatively inexpensive. Take a critical look at this palette and tell me that there are not overlapping colors. Tell me that these aren't colors that, yes, on a smaller scale, you probably already have in your collection. Take a look at the first column and the last column and the browns you have in those rows, like those matte brownie tones. Tell me those aren't the same colors. There are so many of those pink shades that I can just see. It's almost like I'm playing the matching game with my eyes. I can tell you that that matte pink and that matte pink are the same. I can tell you that that shimmery berry and that shimmery berry over there are the same. I can tell you that that matte brown and that matte brown, exactly the same. It's like Morphe has just put the same colors, but they strategically put it in the palette apart from each other so your eye won't normally see them. But if you take a critical look at this palette, you don't need it. Especially now that I feel like smaller palettes, smaller eyeshadow palettes, more curated palettes are really becoming the trend. I feel like any eyeshadow palette that has more than 12 colors nowadays is too much. I don't want it. I don't want it in my life. I don't want 35 pink colors. Actually, you're not getting 35 pink colors. You're getting like 17 pink colors because you're getting every color in that palette essentially twice. If you guys like this color scheme, there are so many better pinky toned palettes out there. The one that comes at the top of my head is the Huda Beauty New Nude palette. That palette is awesome. I love that palette. I've talked so highly about that palette. This is like that palette just over exaggerated. It's like they took that palette and just made it unnecessarily large, unnecessary. Okay, this is another launch that I feel like, I always look forward to Natasha Denona launches, and this one is just awful. This is the holiday collection. Particularly, I want to talk about the eyeshadow palette, which is one of her mini 5-pan eyeshadow palettes, and the 2 nude lipsticks she released. First off, this eyeshadow palette, I've never seen 5 shades of eyeshadow in a single palette that look more disjointed than these 5. This is the most randomly curated 5 colors I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not really drawn to any of the individual shades, and I'm definitely not drawn to the palette as a whole because it makes no sense. There's 3 shades that are sort of cool toned and then 2 shades that are warm toned, but those cool and warm tones really clash. And again, in a mini quint, like a 5-pan palette, I think that's great. I think mini 5-pan palettes, good size, but the color story needs to be somewhat consistent. You know, if you're taking just this 5-pan, I don't think you could get like a very cohesive look with this. And then she also launched these 2 nude lipsticks. Do not tell me that these are not the same color. Look at these swatches. These are the same exact lipstick. Why would you launch 2 nude lipsticks in a collection and have them both be this light peach color? Why wouldn't you release one that's maybe a little bit darker and one that's maybe this color a little bit lighter? That way you could cover a range of people. This is horrible. She did release a highlighter which looks pretty, but it also looks very, very silver. I'm not going to speak too much about the highlighter because I think if you're interested in anything she released, the highlighter is probably your best option. But the eyeshadow palette and the single lipstick, what's that about? I don't understand. I saw this MAC holiday palette and I laughed at it. This looks like a Claire's makeup eyeshadow palette that you get either for free or at a clearance bin, and you give it to your 5-year-old daughter who just wants to experiment with makeup. But you know that none of these colors are actually even going to show up on her, so you don't mind her having something that looks that bright blue. Now, I haven't seen swatches of this, so I don't know what the actual pigmentation of this palette is like, but I can say that the way it looks is insanely cheap. I don't know what MAC was thinking releasing this palette, because the funny thing is they have a whole other holiday collection that looks pretty. It comes in this like pink metallic packaging, and it's, you know, their highlighters and their lipsticks and their lip glosses and their eyeshadows and all that kind of stuff. And that actually looks really pretty, but I don't know what this eyeshadow palette is about. I don't know. It doesn't look high quality to me. It looks horrible. I don't like the layout. I don't like the wasted space. I don't like the different size pans. I literally don't like anything about this palette. I don't like a single thing about this palette. Don't recommend it at all. The other one that I also think is not the worst idea. I understand where they were going with it, but it's kind of like a little too late, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Why are you launching this Soft Glam 2 mini palette? I love the Soft Glam palette. That might be my favorite Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palette, and I have a lot of them. This one is my favorite, but I don't know why this mini one needed to exist. It doesn't need to exist, especially not for $30. This palette is so expensive. The colors are so basic, which, yeah, the Soft Glam palette is pretty basic. This is one of those like a little too late, Anastasia. You could have launched this when Soft Glam was sort of the big thing that everybody was really into, but I don't know. I think Anastasia is kind of like not the vibe anymore. And then I saw them release this 4 shades of white lip gloss set. No, seriously, what the heck is this? Why are there 2 shades of milky white lip gloss? Supposedly an ultralight pink and a light beige. No, these are white, and obviously they're not going to work on someone with a skin tone like mine, but I also don't see them working on anybody with any sort of skin tone. This doesn't look like a flattering set. I mean, the shimmers, obviously you can layer them with other things, but the milky white colors, like why? why do we have that? Why do I get the feeling that both of these releases would just not work for anybody with any sort of medium, tan, or deep skin tone? I don't understand where Anastasia was going with this launch. This one confuses me, and I can't get behind it. The final worst launch I had to mention. Now, I do think this launch is bad. I do think it's bad. I also think it's like wrong place, wrong time, Marc Jacobs. I don't know if this collection was supposed to come out in the summertime. This is very, very much a summer collection. This is not a winter collection. This cherry, minty vibe. I don't know. I don't work for Marc Jacobs. I don't know if maybe the whole pandemic thing maybe slowed down their production or something, and what should have launched in summer, because let's be real, this should have launched in summer, actually ended up getting pushed to the winter. It's possible. I know other brands that has been, you know, an issue with. But more than that, this collection is not interesting at all, because every single item in here, for the most part, is repackaged items that already exist. I do think the packaging is cute. I don't think it screams high-end. I don't think it screams Marc Jacobs. I don't think it screams holiday, but the lipstick is Oh Miley, which is a permanent color. The mascara is just the Velvet Noir Volume Mascara, which, you know, is again a permanent item. Technically, this eye palette is new, this one in Cherryrific, but I've seen not just similar things from Marc Jacobs. I have seen similar things from Marc Jacobs, but I've also seen similar things in every other brand. I mean, if you have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette from back in the day, you're good. You don't need this. And then the Omega Glaze All Over Foil Luminizer. I think that's a permanent shade too. I'm pretty sure that's a permanent shade. So basically, this is all repackaged stuff, packaged into packaging that isn't the most holiday, and also to me doesn't scream super fancy. I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion, maybe you disagree. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, now that I hit you with a bunch of negativity, I figured let me leave you on a little bit of positivity. I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly touch on a couple of the releases that I actually do think are really awesome. That way we don't depart this connection we're having right now on a negative tone. I actually think this is a great launch. The Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette she's releasing. This is the Celestial Divinity palette. It has 18 shades. It's $78, which is still an expensive eyeshadow palette, but for Pat McGrath, it is inexpensive. Pat McGrath is best known for her shimmers, for her transformer colors. While I don't think any of these shades in this palette are her super special, like the baked, transformative, super glittery shades, I have heard really good things about this palette. I've heard the quality of it is really good. I heard that even though you're not getting any of the super special Pat McGrath shades, the shades you are getting are still really, really beautiful. And I like the colors. I think the color range is really nice. Again, there are a lot of shimmers in here, so I don't think it's a very balanced palette, but for Pat McGrath, I tend to gravitate towards her shimmers anyways. I'd rather have more Pat McGrath shimmers than mattes. So I actually think this is a pretty good launch, and I think it's good that she kind of made the packaging smaller and cheaper. It's in cardboard packaging, so you're not necessarily getting the luxe feel that you get out of her $125 palettes. I think this is nice because it'll allow people who maybe couldn't afford or didn't want to afford the $125 palettes to still try out her formula. I think it's a good idea. I also think this was a good idea. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Mini Sculpture Unlocked palette. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Unlocked palette. It came out, I think, 2 years ago, and then Hourglass re-released it for the holidays last year. But this is a little quad that they released that is 4 shades that were included in the original Unlocked palette: a blush, a bronzer, a finishing powder, and then a highlighter. So it's a downscaled version, but still the same shades, same formula. I think this is a good idea. I love when companies come out with products that are fan favorites favorites, tried and true cult products that they know people already love, and then either re-release them or make them better or make them more accessible to people because they lower the price, like the Pat McGrath palette. I think that's great, and I think this was a really good idea for Hourglass to do. They also have an 8-pan palette, sorry, a 6-pan palette. I wish it was an 8-pan palette. A 6-pan palette, the Ambient Lighting Edit Sculpture palette. It's an $80 palette and you get a couple finishing powders, kind of a highlighter, a bronzer, and a couple of blushes. Similar layout, similar vibe to some of the other ones they've released, but my favorite out of those two palettes is definitely the smaller quad. I think that was a really, really good idea for Hourglass to release. And then finally, I wanted to give a shout out to Lisa Eldridge. She is one of my favorite people on this platform, and she recently came out with more shades of her tried and true Velvet lipsticks. She came out with 4 new shades of the Velvet lipsticks, which I have raved about for so long now. I bought the original launch when she came out with her 3 original reds. I even made a video on it. I'll link it down below. You can also get those colors now. At the time of her original launch, she sold out really quick, and when I made that video, they were sold out at the time, but they are available now. But I'm so excited to see her not just come out with an amazing formula that people love, but then continue to make new colors in that tried and true formula. I love when companies do that. Again, they listen to their consumers, they see what the feedback is, they make better products, and they keep coming out with more of what the people want. And these Velvet lipsticks are what we want. I love these lipsticks. So I did end up buying, I already purchased the 4 new shades, and she also came out with a new lip gloss formula and a lip pencil formula. The lip glosses are called her Gloss Embrace lip glosses, and they're supposed to be a very hydrating, infused with oils and butters and all of that kind of thing. I did pick up one of the glosses as well, and I actually picked it up in a little kit. So I got the lipstick, the gloss, and the lip pencil to test out. Alrighty guys, do we like that? Do we like that I ended on a little bit of a high note? Because sometimes I feel like my negative videos, while they do tend to get a lot of views and you guys do seem to like them, sometimes I feel bad leaving you guys on a negative note. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys feel like there are any other holiday launches that are just absolutely horrible money grabs and the companies should be shamed. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. Please share it with your friends, any other beauty lovers that you have in your life. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video very soon. I'll see you then. Bye!